I'm your host, Noah Love, and today, May 12th, 2025, we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs that happened on Sunday. The Pacers demolished the Cavs to go up 3-1. Also, going to be talking about the Thunder and Nuggets. Thunder tied the series at 2-2. We're also going to be talking about the NFL schedule release. The opening game has been announced, and two other games have been announced in the international schedule. But I'm not really going to get into the international schedule. I'll get into all that when the schedule release happens on Wednesday. Um, the NBA draft lottery is tonight at 7 o'clock. Try to see if I can get this up before then. Uh, who will get Cooper Flag? We'll talk about that and the whole Giannis. I've heard rumors. Where's he gonna go? We will discuss that. That's the biggest domino. But let's first start with the NFL opening game. It's Eagles and Cowboys. Don't love it. Don't love it. Thought there were better options you could have gone. Thought you could have gone Lions. Thought you could have gone Bears. Thought you could have gone uh, Commanders. Thought you could have gone even the Bucks. In terms of game quality, but Cowboys, ratings, obviously, this game's going to do massive ratings. It's the star, it's the brand. Also, George Pickens is near there now. NFC East rivalry should be an interesting game there. But the other two games, it's a doubleheader that's happening, I believe, in like week 16 here as I pull it up on my phone here. One of them was Bears Packers. One of them was Bear Packers, and the other one was Eagles Commanders. Yeah, so that'll be a those are two interesting games, obviously. Division rivalries. Hopefully both teams are um in playoff contention, because when it gets to that time of year, some games have to be changed around and everything like that. But really excited for that. But yeah, in terms of Eagles and Cowboys, kind of venturing back to that, I really do think they could have gone Eagles Lions. I think that would have been a more intriguing matchup than Cowboys. I thought even Eagles Commanders with Jaden Daniels, the NFC Championship game rematch. Now they add Debo Samuel. I really thought that could have been something they went with. But look, like I said, I understand ratings, all that. I get it. All right, just my quick thoughts there. Now let's go to the Pacers and the Cavs. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals last night. The Pacers demolished the Cavs to take a 2 games to 1 series lead, or 2 games to 1, a 3 games to 1, excuse me, series lead. This game was over in the first half. The Pacers were up as much as 41 in the game. My goodness. The Cavs, the the Cavs didn't show up. Where were they? I couldn't find them. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, I couldn't find them. Let's be real, they just did not show up for this game. None of them played good. Mitchell, who's been great in series, did not play good. Pacers, everybody was phenomenal. That 19-2 run at the end of the first half sealed it. Really, Miles Turner hit a step back three, and then he hit three from like the hash. I was like, yeah, this is cooked. That in the second quarter, they went 42-16 after going 38-23. in the first quarter. Game over. By the way, there was an ejection. Matherin got ejected. They said he punched Hunter. He didn't punch him. It was an open hand shove. I saw a still shot, and even when they showed it in the moment, I was like, he didn't. I don't think he punched him. It was a shove. I thought that was a soft ejection. I thought, okay, they gave Turner a tech. Okay, fine, because he pushed Hunter defending his teammate, but Matherin and Hunter should have got tech and play on. Or if you want to throw them out, I believe if you throw one out, you throw both out. I don't like that they just threw Matherin out, because Matherin, they're saying that the punch wasn't a punch. But even if it was, it's not like he wound up and uppercut him or something like that. Just a little love tap. And then Hunter gets a full two-hand shove. Come on, man. I don't think either should have been thrown out. I didn't like that happened. I just have to say that I didn't like that. Apparently Donovan Mitchell had aggravated his ankle sprain. I guess they had um at the end of the year. He sat out the last couple games of the year because they locked up the 1 seed, but was good to go for the playoffs. But yeah, apparently that happened. If you saw when he came out in second half for warm-ups, he tried to shoot it, and he, I guess, felt something, and something wasn't right, so went back to the locker room. They obviously shut him down for the game because, look, it was 80-39. But if we're talking about the games, look, X's and O's, we can talk about the X's and O's in terms of this game. I think the Pacers attacked the zone well. Obviously, I thought, they put Mobley at the top of the key. I thought the Pacers did a great job of getting to the free throw line and making the right reads off of that. Look, I thought Obi Toppin played well coming off the bench. He was huge. I thought Siakam, he found something in the second half of the last game, played well in this game. But to me, this isn't about X's and O's. This is about the force that the Pacers played with and how locked in they were defensively. And I believe this is also about Cleveland. Did they forget they had a game? Like, genuinely, it was shocking. Look, I said the Pacers had a legit shot in this series. You know that. I did say that. But for the Cavs to come out and play as poorly as they did and be not ready to play, they didn't even put up a fight. It looked like after the first, Pacers got out fast, jumped on them, and it was a wrap. They jumped out early, it was a wrap. And the Pacers have done this before on Mother's Day, by the way. Knicks last year. But even with the Knicks game, you sort of some people were like, okay, energy, da 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 da. They played the Friday night, and then they played Friday, or Sunday evening, whatever it was. Like, okay, it kind of felt like, the Knicks didn't have the necessary energy. The Pacers are deeper. That's what happened. It wasn't even anything like that. I felt like the Cavs, they had the full 40. They played at 7 o'clock on Friday. They got their guys back, so they're not tired. They just got their butts kicked. And for the Cap, and this isn't an X's and O's thing. This isn't like an attitude thing and a pride thing. So if you're Cleveland, if you're Kenny Atkinson, players meeting something, because you are now on the verge of being eliminated, and you're down 3-1. The way they lost that game was embarrassing, straight up. Like, that was terrible. I guess the Cavs probably thought Look, we got our guys back. We blew them out in game 3. We got this. And the Pacers said, no, you don't. The Pacers get their butts. And now, what I want to see in game 5 is how do the Cavs come out? Do they come out like, oh, we can come back in this series, we're going to play our butts off, and we're going to see what happens? Or are they going to just be like, Cancun, we quit? I don't care what a 1 seed, everything we've done this season, we quit. I mean, I'm genuinely interested in seeing, because that crowd's going to be rocking. And it's also a sense of pride, man. Like, you got to have a sense of pride if you're Cleveland. I'll also be interested to see how the Pacers come out, because if you're Pacers, if you're the Pacers, you should be like, yo, look, we won game 4. We've won 2 games here already. Let's come out, let's put them away, and let's move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers have to come out with a killer mentality. I feel like not, and they have to be ready for a fight, because I think Cleveland is going to bring it. I know I said I'd be interested to see how they come out, but I don't think Cleveland is soft as Charmin or whatever. I don't think this. They're. I think they are going to be coming out right, and it's going to be a physical, hotly contested game. I wanna. I genuinely. Game 5 is going to be interesting. Even if Cleveland loses, they can't just give up. You get what I'm saying? Like, they can't just be like, yeah, nah, we're not gonna play tonight. Cancun on me, Cancun on 3. No, they can't do that. So it'll be an interesting game to watch. Obviously, the final score was 129, 109. It was not even that close. Pacers, look, the Cavs, when you get embarrassed like that in a playoff game on the road, that's a long trip back. Well, it feels like a long trip back. At the time I'm recording this, is what, 6 o'clock. So they got about 25 hours. Obviously, they had the game ended last night, but at the time I'm recording this, 25 hours to figure it out and see if they can force a game 6 back in Indy. Um, Cavs, the number 1 seed, are on the brink of elimination here. The other 1 seed got it done. The Thunder win 92-87 over the Nuggets to tie the series at 2-2. Let's be real. This game was it was a horrible display of offense. It was bad. Shooting wise, it was bad. On a day where Jalen Williams has 10 points, goes 2 for 13. Holmgren has 8 points, 4 for 10. Lou Dort goes 2 for 10. SGA has 25, but it's not an efficient 25. On a day where the Thunder don't really shoot it well from 3, they find a way to win. Nuggets have got to be sick. If I'm a Nuggets fan, I'm sick, because we could have had this game. Westbrook goes 2 for 12. Look, Murray didn't play that well. Porter, 3 points, dog. Come on, man. I know he's playing with the shoulder wrap, but he shot it well last game. 3 points, dog. Like, 1 of 7 over 5. Jokic, better game than he had last game, but still for his standards, not really that good. Think they're wearing him down. Thunder got a great win. Look, this is one of them. How bad do you want it? Get in the mud. We're in the mud. Let's go get it type of games. And the Thunder got it. And what was so interesting about the game was, in the first quarter, it was 17-8. And you're just like, the Nuggets can't make anything. If the Thunder get together, they may get blown out. But in the second quarter, they kind of started to find it a little bit. Third quarter, they go 33-21. And I think they entered the quarter, I think it might have been up 7-8, something like that. and you go, oh my goodness, the Nuggets could be up 3-1. Nah, Thunder just, their defense was really great. Their versatility, they closed a game, not necessarily with the offense. Not necessarily they have the greatest offense. Obviously, Nuggets miss free throws in the clutch, and that's huge. But their defense really good late in the game. Uh, Opposed to whereas in Game 3 wasn't really great late. There were a couple times I thought where Jokic, they obviously Hardenstein's guarding them 1-on-1. They had Holmgren on them. The other Jalen Williams, not the J Dub that starts, the other one come in. He was banging bodies down there with big Jokic. There was a couple times where they switched Caruso as a guard onto Jokic, and he was just fighting them, man. That's the type of game it was. Just fronting them, making Jokic take tough shots, and turn the ball over. I just love the Thunder defensive intensity, and they're so dangerous because not only of the defensive intensity, but the defensive versatility, and also in the ways that can beat you. Okay, game two, we win scoring 149. We blow you out. Okay, this one is more of a game in the trenches. We have to dig it out, and we can do that. We can hold you under 90 points. Were the Nuggets missing some open shots? Absolutely. I'm not saying the Thunder uh I'm not saying the Thunder had this all-time great defensive performance, but I'm do saying they were very, very good on defense. Case and Wallace had some timely threes as well. I just thought in terms of the early they set the tone. Early Denver wasn't getting anything. But just setting the tone, the bench, I mean, it came down to the depth. They have more depth. I mean, the Nuggets essentially played six guys most of the minutes. Murray, Brown, Porter, Gordon, Jokic, and Westbrook. Whereas OKC could go deep into their bench. They can play Case and Wallace 23 minutes and he give them 11 points. They can play Aaron Wiggins 16 minutes, but it's efficient 16 minutes and he gives you 11.6 rebounds. I can play Alex Caruso 28 minutes. He can knock down the three. He can battle Jokic and he can guard Jamal Murray and he can get the active hands and everything. He can do those things. So I just think the depth and the later we go into the series is bedtime. Also, I think the rest part will be a big aspect of it because the Nuggets, they just got through a grueling 7-game series pretty much with the Clippers. Whereas OKC, they swept Memphis. Obviously, 2 of the 4 games were blowouts. Obviously, they have more depth. They're more fresh. Game 5 in OKC should be interesting. I think this goes 7. I think the Thunder win in Game 5. I think the Nuggets win Game 6. And I think Game 7, it comes down to Game 7. I do think OKC gets it. But let me tell you, Game 7, there will be so much pressure on the Thunder. So much pressure. But I do think they're waiting for it. And I do think with this one, because if they had lost this game, I was like, coming down for 3-1, I don't know if they could do it. I think the Nuggets will probably get them in Game 6. But two, obviously tied 2-2 is better than being down 3-1. And now then Thunder have the home court back. So obviously that's huge. And I just think now the Thunder are gonna win the series in 7. But I do think the Thunder, just more depth, they're gonna win it in 7. But great, but not okay. I should say great game, but good defensive game. I will say. Now let's go to the draft lottery. Who will win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes? Look, the number one, the draft lottery comes on at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this out before then. But in terms, I'm just gonna read you guys the odds in terms of this real quick. In terms of the odds, because it's gonna get real interesting here in terms of who can get the number one pick. Okay, first of all, obviously we're starting from the bottom and going up. The Spurs and the picks via Atlanta, so the Spurs have the the worst odds to get the number one pick, 0.7% chance to get the number one pick there. Then after that, the Kings, who lost in playing, zero point 0.8. The Bulls have a 1.7% chance. The Mavs have a 1.8% chance. The Mavs better not get the number one pick. Look, I don't really root against teams all the time, but they do not deserve to get that because of what they did with Luka, like Nico Harrison, and they don't deserve to get that. If they do, it would be like wow, but they shouldn't get it. Anyways, Portland 3.7% chance. Houston Rockets in the lottery. They have the Suns pick 3.8% chance. The Spurs their own pick 6% chance. Toronto 7.5% chance. Brooklyn 9% chance. Philadelphia, who if they want to inject some life into next season, 10.5% chance. Him and Embiid, crazy. Or him and Flag and Maxey would be crazy. The Pels, 12.5% chance. Flag and Zion, oh my. The Hornets, 14% chance. Wizards, 14% chance. The Jazz, 14% chance. Where does he go? If I'm being honest, I have no idea who's going to get the number one pick. And also in this draft, like if you get the number 2 or 3 pick, that's a Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey, who are going to be, I think, are going to be really good pros. So, but obviously you want Flag. He's the clear number one pick. Who gets him? I don't know. Who, and I'm just looking at the interesting scenarios here in terms of who could get him. This Philly getting him would be like, whoa. Because now you have obviously Philadelphia, you're going to draft him, but then you're going to have some decisions to make in terms of Paul George and everything like that. But I think that should already be a conversation. If the Nets get him, to me, that's intriguing because you have the 5 feature first, but you also have now a guy that can at least give Nets fans some hope and excitement. Pelicans, Flag and Zion. My goodness. And obviously, the most interesting one to me would be San Antonio. San Antonio. If they could get if San Antonio somehow get, first of all, it's rumored that they could be in the Giannis sweepstakes, but it's not even that. If they get the number one pick, they'd have a decision to make because obviously they could draft Flag and pair him with Wemby and Fox and Stephon Castle, but they could also trade it for Giannis. Which, see, and I'm kind of gonna segue this into what I'm talking about with Giannis because Giannis, I think there could be a good chance he ends up in San Antonio. I don't think he ends up in LA or New York. I think there could be a good chance he ends up in San Antonio. Because don't look at San Antonio, they have picks. They have pieces like Devin Vassell, Sohan. May have to give up Castle. You could do that. Or what if a team that didn't really have doesn't really have a chance, like according to the odds. But what if a team like Houston gets the number one pick and they get Cooper Flag? They're already a 2 seed, a playoff team. That's interesting. So I just think this Cooper Flag sweepstakes, it's very interesting. Now we're gonna kind of get into Giannis here, because Giannis, obviously, we don't know where he wants to go. He's exploring his options. Will he come back to Milwaukee? I'm not really sure. But I don't think he will. That roster. Look. They said he's open minded. Well, I think a top landing spot. I think three of them could be in the West. I think San Antonio, Houston, and OKC, and that depends. Now, if OKC wins the championship, obviously, but that depends. There's just like, yeah, there. It'll be interesting. You could, and if I was talking East, it could be Miami, but I just don't know if the pieces there. I don't know. A lot of people are saying the Knicks will. The Knicks will probably have to give up Cat, OG, and a pick. I I don't, I don't know about that. A team that should be a sleeper though is the Grizzlies. They're gonna have to make a decision on Ja Morant. What if the Ja Morant say, "Hey, I will give you Ja Morant and Edie and some picks because we want to pair up Giannis and Jaren Jackson Jr." It's just a thought. Not saying it's gonna happen, even though I could see a Ja Morant for Trae Young trade happen. But that's a whole different ballgame. I think that could be a team to watch out for. Well, everybody thinks they can get Giannis. Not everybody can get Giannis, right? But he is the biggest domino for this all season. If he stays in Milwaukee, things will be calm. If he goes somewhere else, things will get crazy. So it will be interesting to see where he goes. I think the most likely spot could be San Antonio, but again, you just don't know. You just don't know in terms of this young, because I've seen superstars get traded, but in terms of this one, is it a will he go? Does he want to go anywhere or the preferred destinations? That's what I would like to hear. Anyways, that is it for today's episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Um, I've been your host, Noah Love. Gonna try to get this out right before the draft lottery begins. All right, until next time, see ya.